All right, good morning. It is a Wednesday. I am loving the fact that this week is just flying by already. I think a lot of you starting off a little slow. We just got done with a class here. I think it was a little bit to get kick started and then we got going, which I think was absolutely awesome. Loving the fact that we are getting your day started early and get with some positivity and just have a little fun today. One of the things that I just typed up in the description of what we're going to talk about today has to do with dating. So I want you to grab everybody that you know and tell them we're going to have some fun today. We're talking about men and women. We're talking about boys and girls. We're talking about all ages and how different dating looks. So I have a bunch of topics that viewers have been sending me, asking me to do different shows. And this one's been in my bag for a little bit. Michelle and I actually were discussing what we're going to talk about today. And I had a different one on tap and I thought, nope, it's time for us to have a little fun. So dating before and after social media. That's what someone asked me to talk about. And I thought, what a fun one for all of us to think about our dating years. Now I'm married, so I don't have to worry about dating any longer, I hope. But for those of you that are tasked with dating, I want you to share with me how hard it is, the safety aspect, right? So think about how safe you felt in your years growing up. It depends on how old you are, of how dating looked at your age, and then you look at your kids and you look at your grandkids and how they're dating. Now look, my husband always laughs at this because he never used any kind of a dating site, but I actually thought, and this is, I'm just going to start off with this right away, I actually found it to be a much better way to get to know somebody before you really go out and spend a lot of time in the dating world. So you can talk to someone as long as you want to get to know them, or hopefully they're being honest with you, get to know them a little bit, maybe several times, talking online, talking on the phone before you ever decide to go on that actual date, as opposed to people who say, oh no, I met in a bar, or this person fixed us up and it was awkward. And I'm like, yeah, you don't even know anything about them. It's a brand new thing right away, trying to meet, and how uncomfortable it is, or maybe exciting. These are all the things we're going to discuss. So think about when you were dating, share things with me. I wish you could all be in a forum where we could sit there and talk. That's really something that I want to be working towards, so that we can do a panel. We can have a bunch of people in a room and we can just have fun and we pass the mic around and talk about your experiences. But until we can do that, we'll have you type in. So again, if you're married, it's okay. I want you to talk about how you started your dating relationship and just share some things, because I think the younger generation, they'll never understand, because in their world, it's very much doing not Match.com. What's the one where you swipe left and swipe right? Is that Bumble? Somebody just left here and said, I think it's Bumble and Hinge. Is that another one? I haven't even heard of these. Match.com, Plenty of Fish. There was a site, because I'm very into fitness, bodybuilders something .com. I actually used that forever ago. I met a lot of incredible people. I'm going to tell you right now, I have a lot of friends that I dated, and just for one reason or another, we didn't feel like we wanted to have the connection to move forward, which is just life in general. But you have enough inside of you to say, but I really like you as a person and I want to stay friends. I have so many people that I know that have developed incredible friendships. In fact, I said somebody should reach out to Match.com and tell them that they're missing the beat. They should be saying just connections alone instead of trying to find long-term love or marriages. Yeah, they've got a lot of marriages under their belt. People have met and had great connections, and then they got married, which I think is awesome. But I think the true story is how many people have become friends and stayed friends, which I think really is a true test to your incredible character, stayed friends throughout it all. So we're going to talk about that today. Again, dating in today's day and age and dating yesteryear. So the actual topic that somebody said is they wanted me to talk about dating before and after social media. That's the other thing. Do people use like Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and Instagram to find dates as well? I'd love to know all that. Let me say some shout outs this morning to Wayne, Sean, Linda, Kathy, Leona, Kathy Kilo Peterson. Getting ready to talk about you in just a second. Laura, Kathleen, Jillian, Nasser. Julie said, I met my husband at a bar when I wasn't looking. I had been on OK Cupid. Okay, I've not heard of that one. No such thing as dating. No such thing as dating apps 45 years ago. Exactly. When we met in a bar in 1978 and still together. I love it. Good morning to you as well, Donna. So, dating. Again, whether you're dating right now and you find it very difficult, another part that we could add to this is dating after a divorce, dating after losing a spouse, and even considering to do that again. So there's so many levels where we could take this. It has branches that come off this big tree. So let me know, dating in it depends on how old you are. So if we've got somebody that's in their 50s, 60s, 70s, even 80s, I don't know if my mom's listening, but for some of her friends that are in their mid 80s, I'd love to know how dating looked in our yesteryear, then dating over the years, and then dating today with social media as a component, which I don't know. Do you find it scary or do you think it's a little bit easier? I told you I was going to tell you about my friend. Look at this. So that's one of our newest sponsors, Kathy Kilo Peterson. Uh-oh, got some emergency trucks out here. So this is actually almost like right on cue. If you've got some kind of an accident with your car, you've got something that happens to your home, something that happens to any of your possessions, you need to make sure that you can trust an insurance agent. We've been talking about Kathy Kilo Peterson for the last month and a half, and I know some of you have been reaching out saying, hey, if she's supporting your incredible mission, then we want to support her. And we want to talk with not just Kathy, but Marilyn and the rest of the staff at Kathy Kilo Peterson's office, kkilo.com. You can reach out to them. Look, she said she will be there for you. But if this is what I really love, she said, if you have an agent that you really enjoy working with and they're taking care of you, there's no need to switch. But if you're not happy, then absolutely. She wants you to get a quote. And if you're paying way too much, then she can take you on. Or maybe you have an agent and she can teach you the transition aspect. I love the fact that she said between her and the rest of her staff that they have like 82 to 83 years combined taking care of you. So again, I want someone to take care of you that's going to go that extra mile. Again, supplemental insurance. You need, as I said, the home. You definitely need your home taken care of. Boats, autos, bikes, etc. Look for a great agent in Kathy Kilo Peterson. Once again, that number is 636-561-6460. Okay, we're going to talk about dating before and after social media. So get ready with some comments for me. We'll have that when we return. Invita Health and Wellness, where you can feel your best both inside and out. Invita isn't your typical med spa. They're a multi-specialty medical spa and wellness center serving St. Louis and its surrounding areas. They have ketamine for mental health and pain, IV therapy, medical weight loss, and aesthetics treatments. As board-certified anesthesia providers, Invita can ensure that their advanced treatments are provided safely with minimal to no pain. So let Invita take care of you. Call 314-394-0950 to book an appointment or online invitahealthandwellness.com. All right, welcome back. It's a Wednesday, so it's the mobile Monica version. And as you can tell behind me, it's a little bit of everything. You know what I think is somebody needs to take care of their flowers. I saw this when I came this morning. It was very sweet when someone got somebody roses, but they're dead. Yep, you got to take care of those babies and change that water. So I think that needs to go bye-bye so we can see. Let's get this out of the way. There we go. A little bit of everything here at Mark Anthony's. And I know some of you have been stopping by and supporting where I do my personal training and styling, and thanking Mark for letting us use this beautiful space. I love it. Okay, who's ready to talk about some dating? So we talk about dating apps. Now, for those of you that have never used it, that's fine. I'm sure you've heard stories of others that have. Let's see. Bill says good morning. And Rose, I can't imagine using a dating app years ago. Not for me, but I understand why some do it. They are not very social. I would have talked to the guy in frozen food when I was single and shopping. No shame in dating platforms. No shame at all. But yes, it's very funny. Now, I can think back in high school, you're just talking about talking to somebody in the frozen food. I met a guy that worked at the grocery store in the produce department, and we had just come off a float trip. Now, think about how you look when you come off of a float trip. I mean, my sister-in-law was shopping with me and I said, "Oh my gosh, that guy's really cute." And she said, "Well, go say something to him." And I said, "Heck no. You just got off a float trip. You feel horrible. Your skin's all yucky from being in the river and your hair's all disheveled." I was not about to talk to him. What does she do? She goes up to him as I turn my head and says, she thinks you're cute." I was so embarrassed, but we ended up dating, which I mean, it was so crazy. And I remember when he came to pick me up at the house and he was like, "Wow." I said, "Yeah, I don't look like I did on a float trip." Now we dated for a while, just like anything, it's young and didn't work out, but it's so funny to think about all these things that we did and how we dated. And so that was one of the guys I met in high school. Other people I think just met at different parties, obviously playing sports, so you're like-minded. And then as I went through college, I went to Missouri Valley, then I went to Mizzou. When I came back home, would meet some people in the gym here and there, but I felt that people were not being their authentic self. So over the years, people would say, "What do you think about a dating app?" Well, as I got into radio and I got into, let me see if I was in television at that time. I know definitely when I was in radio that I did a dating app. I think in TV. Yes, maybe. I can't remember when I stopped, but I did Match.com, and I felt that it was actually a great site. Met some incredible people. Met some people, of course, that um, were fake and put a very fake profile out there. Or that's the funny thing that you say, when did they put that picture on, or when did that picture get taken? Because it definitely is not what they look like today. Yeah, show your authentic self if you're going to be on those sites. If your kids are on a site, which one are they using? And I want to know if people are actually utilizing the way we do world today, which is what, Facebook and Instagram. Do they use TikTok? We're not on that platform. We're considering maybe putting the show on TikTok just to reach a bigger audience, let people know that, yet the younger generation know that we're here to take care of their mental, spiritual, physical state, and get them to speak their truth and be honest at an early age and help them along at an earlier age, which I love. I was complimenting someone the other day who is only 20 years old, and I was doing some life coaching with her, and I said, "Wow, I'm so impressed that you have found your voice at such a young age." And she smiled, and I said, "No, I'm serious. You really should be commended for that, because it's many times in life it takes a lot longer for anybody to really be able to speak what they want to speak." And here she is at 20. I told her she's an old soul, growing up very fast, but slow things down a little bit. But love the fact that you have that inside of you. So we were talking a little bit about dating and the way it's used today. And so she was saying, yeah, TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. And then there's LinkedIn, and there's Alignable for people that are looking more on the business relationship side. But who knows what that could turn into? You just always have to be open and present. Nobody can come walking into your life and want to date you if you are completely closed off, right? I always talk about that, whether it's friendships or whether you're actually looking for someone to come walking in and have a romantic relationship with them. They can't do it if you've got all this debris that's all over the path that's supposed to be coming to you. That's the problem with a lot of people. They're not really, really open to it. But those of you that never had apps like the ones we're talking about today, do you think if you had to date in today's day and age, would you use a dating app? I want you to be real with me. So Donna says, "I think I could have been a matchmaker." Okay, I'm glad you brought that up, because I have done that for years. In fact, I have one, two, three marriages. They came from me and a friend of mine matching people up together. I used to love it. People would actually ask me, they'd come to me and say, "Will you hook us up?" And I was like, "There's no hookup. I will only do this if I feel really drawn to what the other person and this person are saying." So here's what would happen. They would tell me, "Well, I'm looking for this. And I said, "No, you're not, because that's what you've been dating and it hasn't worked. That's what you think you're looking for." And it was always, the way I would fix people up was always what they weren't saying. Does that make sense to you? It's all the subtle little messages of what I really thought someone was looking for. So when we fixed this one couple up, they came back and said, "I'm really shocked that you introduced us, because it's so very different from what we were saying we were looking for." And I said, "Right, but your subliminal messages were what I knew your heart was searching for, what your mind was searching for, every aspect of what you wanted in a relationship." And the reason why relationships aren't working for so many people is they have this laundry list that they think they want, And it's not at all. Instead of, oh, I want a guy this tall and this color hair and this color eyes. Oh, I want a girl to be built this way. It was, okay, is that going to keep you long term? Or is it really what's inside that you're really looking for? Now, the people who are in the younger generation are probably like, nope, I think she's hot, or I think he's good looking. And okay, that's fine. But I think that you could get through so much craziness that you go through with dating if you would just be more authentic. So I came up with a theory of three and in or three and out. What do I mean by that? Actually, I'm not going to answer that yet. I'm going to see if anybody knows what I'm talking about. I may have said this on the show before. Three and in or three and out. Let's see what you think. I'm going to put my glasses on, read a little bit better here. Okay, so Donna says, I think I could have been a matchmaker. Again, I want you to answer that three and in and three and out question. I got on the Riverfront Times personal ads with a friend. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. People used to use that too. Didn't they used to use the Post-Dispatch too? Wasn't there an actual personal section? I got on the Riverfront Times personal ads with a friend, and it was all letter driven to meet someone. She got quite a few letters and dates, got on Plenty of Fish for two other friends, and made some connections for them. I love it. I love it. That sounds awesome. Yeah, Plenty of Fish. Is that even still out there? Maybe it is. Kathy says, oh, it's Life Insurance Awareness Month. How cool is that? $25 free gift card for just getting a life insurance quote from them. Protect who you love. There you go. We're talking about one of our newest sponsors, Kathy Kilo Peterson. So Life Insurance Awareness Month. There you go. $25 free gift card. How can you beat that? Just for getting a life insurance quote. All right, everybody. I want you to let me know if you reach out to her. Again, it's 636-561-6460. So if you reach out to her and you get a quote, well, couldn't make it easier than that. You're going to get a free $25 gift card. I love that. Good morning, Carrie. I wonder what grocery store that was, Monica. It was up in North County. We had just gotten off of a float trip, and my sister-in-law and my brother used to live in the Spanish Lake area. So I think it was a Schnucks, and I cannot remember his name. Sean, maybe? This was in high school. Maybe Sean, but it was at Schnucks around 367 Redmond area. I know exactly where it was. Jillian, it is just my opinion, but I think many use dating apps because they're socially awkward or don't have any hobbies or activities they're involved in to meet people, or they're not confident enough in their looks and character to get out there. Yeah, that's possible. And Jillian, by the way, I did see a comment from you the other day on one of my posts. And I just want to let you know, if anybody ever sees a comment deleted, I want you to know that I am not about any kind of negativity or drama. Jillian, I think you had commented on something about would love to personal train with me or would love to life coach, but thought that maybe I was only catering towards the wealthy. Boy, that's not at all true. In fact, I have forever trained clients in my 30 years, and I have not changed those rates. There are people who work out with me in a class, and they still to this day pay 20 to 25 bucks. And I know people in our industry that are charging an exorbitant amount of money, but I refuse to change those rates. Hey, because I want to be able to help everyone. Private training obviously is a whole different world, and I have 30 years of experience. So absolutely, I need to stay close to what other people are charging. But for the most part, people do classes with me in semi-private sessions, and $35 for a semi-private, which is almost all of that attention on you, is phenomenal. So I just wanted to make sure that you understood that no, I've never been a person that wanted to train the stars and the athletes. And I think that's what people always believe, like, oh, she probably only trains celebrities. I don't know where that came from, but that's not the case at all. And anybody who's ever worked out with me can tell you that I am as down to earth as I am on this show. So I want you to know that. So Jillian, if there's ever a time that you want to join a class, I think if you really want to change your life, you'll pay $25 to come and do that. My life coaching class is only 25 bucks. So that's very inexpensive. I just want to make sure you understood that. So yeah, there was a comment, by the way, and I did delete it because I didn't want any drama out there. I didn't want people start attacking and saying, oh, what are you talking about? She teaches for this and this and that. And I know that's usually what happens. So I did pull that off, just letting you know. Okay. I've never used a dating app. It's amazing to me how many married couples met online, right, Kathy? That's why I wanted to talk about it today, because I think it might have people open their minds to actually trying it if they've never tried a dating app before. So, yeah, I really appreciate the woman. So, it's a lady, she ran into a 23-year-old, and the 23-year-old was at a store and said how difficult she thought that it was to date in today's world through everyone doing dating apps. And nobody answered yet, did they? Which is the platform where you swipe and swipe? That I've never done. But I've heard that's more of a hookup thing. Is TikTok a safe platform? Isn't that a great question? So that's what I want to know, because when I was in television, we did so many stories about not downloading the TikTok app because it was giving insider information to China, and that it could be very dangerous for our country. That is why, folks, I have not been on TikTok. Now, I have other people saying, well, look, can't they be getting information? Aren't these things always listening to us? Yeah, I believe that. So what can we trust? And if we walk around never trusting anything, then we're not really living. So I don't know. My mind is open. I've got some interns who have said, Monica, you would kill it on TikTok. I just love how they talk. And I said, well, maybe we should. Maybe we just take the pieces of what we're doing, just like we're doing on other sites, on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. And then we go ahead and put these clips and we show nothing but positivity on TikTok. So I'm open to it. As far as the safety of it, Terry, I don't know. I mean, I hope it is, but since I'm not on there and I haven't been able to do any kind of research on it, I can't say firsthand. I would not use a dating site, she says. I would go to the grocery store or the library. Interesting. Maybe 3 qualities that are a must and 3 that would be a no way. Okay, so she's answering my 3 and in or 3 and out. So what it was is this. I believe you go on your first date, and I don't care whether you met on a dating site or somebody matched you or you met at a bar and you've decided to make that your first date. I think here's what happens on day one. Date one. It's either they overly try to be something that they're not, or they're so nervous that they're not really showing who they are. So that's date one. Date two, they either do a complete flip and they show you someone that they were not at all on date one, and you're so confused and you're like, well, I really had a great time, or I had a horrible time, but I had a little bit of an attraction, so I decided to maybe do it again. You go on date 2, and now you're so confused because they're completely showing you somebody different. And then by date 3, I think that's where you really feel, okay, they're similar to date 1 or similar to date 2, and there's a pattern that has been shown. That's my 3 and in and 3 and out. I almost was saying I wanted to write a book about it years ago, because I think it's true in all aspects, not just the dating world, but I think even when you meet somebody and you are considering becoming friends with them, that people are either unbelievably introverted or overly try. Like really, they're putting on a front and it's not who they are. And they're so exhausted after that first date of showing you who they're not, that by dates 2 and 3, they start to show you who they are. And it's either you're going to really like it to consider continuing dating, or you're like, never mind. Now, if they show you in dates 1 and 2 that you are completely, nope, off the charts, not anything I'm interested in, then you're gone. But I think 3 is a safe bet. What do you think about that? So that's my theory. 3 and in or 3 and out. Let me know what you think. Okay, Rose said, me too, Terry. Tinder. That's it. Thank you, Kathy. Tinder. Okay, so what do you all hear about Tinder from your kids and from your grandkids? Is it, in fact, just a hookup site? That's not really where long-term relationships are being formed? Let me know. Tinder. That's it. Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. Not sure I would have used one. I like to go with my first gut impression when seeing and talking to someone in person. I like to observe someone from first before speaking to them. Okay, Linda, good points everybody's bringing up. Okay, Michelle says, my ex-boyfriend went Match.com and started typing in what he was looking for in a woman. He realized he was describing me 100%. He came crawling back after a 3-month breakup. We were about to celebrate our 18th wedding anniversary. So even though we didn't meet online, I am forever grateful for it. Very interesting. And I think that dating sites are a good thing. Here's the thing though. I guess it's just anything in life though. You've got to be honest and authentic, because don't you think that if you put something that's fake out there, fake picture or fake bio, that you're just really wasting your time and the person's time? Because once they're coming for that person, I've always asked everybody, I'm like, why would you put a fake picture out there or a fake bio? Because that's what they're being drawn to. And they're like, oh, I think by the time we get there, we can change their mind. Well, that's a horrible way to start off, isn't it? So that's where some people come back and say, that's why I would prefer to meet in person. And I said, I get that. At least you can see the attraction, but people can still be fake by what they're delivering you, their bag of goods that they're lying about. What do you think? Again, we're talking about dating. If you're just tuning in, it is 7:25 on a Wednesday morning, and someone asked me to talk about dating before and after social media. And I just want to see what you think about it. Do you think it's safer, by the way? We haven't gotten into that aspect of it. Do you think it's safe or do you think it's dangerous? We'll talk more about that when we.
It's the icing on the cake.
The final brush stroke.
The finishing touches make all the difference in your home, too.
Have fun and get started at carolhouse.com/room planner.
With thousands of accessories in our 3.5-acre showrooms.
Get your picture perfect room and the lowest prices in the country at Carol House.
Because you like nice things.
You know, of course, it's great to get outside and enjoy the warm weather, but when it's time to relax indoors, be sure your home stays cool with equipment and service from my friends at Aldon. 24-hour emergency service available. At Aldon, it's their commitment to continue providing above and beyond HVAC service for all of their customers. They truly care about the air you breathe. Call them today at 314-567-5585 or on the web, aldon.com. That's al-don.com, 314-567-5585. All right, welcome back. We are talking about dating today, and it doesn't matter whether you are currently single and you're in the dating world and you're thinking, yeah, I need some advice here. What can I do? Because everything I've been doing is not working. Come to Dr. Love, Monica, Dr. Love. Ask Dr. Love today. I have helped a lot of people in their relationships over the years. I am just I'm an observer of life. And so I think that's what's always helped when I've matched people up and they've lasted, like I said, 3 marriages still together. And then I have long-term relationships that people have been in. Again, I think the thing that I've always done when I'm matching people up is paying attention to who each individual is and realizing, wow, you're over here describing this person, yet you don't think that person is who you would want just from a physical description alone. But look, physical things change, but what's going on in the heart? What's going on as the actual person? Those are the things I want you to pay attention to. Let's see. Other comments here. Okay. Rose said a friend went on an app called Just Lunch. Isn't it? Yeah, it's Just Lunch. That had been around forever. And that woman that started that was hugely successful. I don't know if it's around anymore. It's Just Lunch. Less formal, and you don't waste an evening out if it isn't a connection. Correct. Does that still exist, by the way? It's Just Lunch. And then at that point, you can decide, oh my gosh, I'm having such a great time, that you continue and you go out, to eat something in the evening, go out dancing, go out to a movie, go out for a walk, continuing it into dinner. That's all on you. But when people are going there, their mindset for It's Just Lunch was just that. Just lunch. It's probably a quick hour. If you aren't interested in the person, you're out within an hour. Otherwise, it's up to you if you want to continue that date. So I did like the concept. Did anybody meet from that? It's Just Lunch. I used to think it was probably a good concept, but I don't know. Why dating? What? Okay, I don't know what that is. Somebody said, what about yoga? That doesn't even make any sense. Always run a case net on them before meeting in person. It can't hurt, and it could be an eye-opener. Yes, yes, yes. That is such a great point. I have known a lot of people in the police business over the years that I used to have them run just kind of a little background check. So I had a little inside look into things. You also try to trust your gut. We don't always have the opportunity in the past to be able to run these different things. So you had to trust your gut. But what do you think about safety? That's what I want to know. I want to research these sites for you, but I'm afraid Mike will see my search history. I don't want to cause a problem with dating. Don't worry about it. Terry, I'm happily married, but if I were single, I honestly think I would try to get involved in group activities that I'm interested in and focus on me. I think it would mean most to find someone when you're not looking for someone. And that's where I was going next, Terry. Thank you for the toss, and I'm going to knock it out of the park here. I find that would help me believe it might be more real. So I am life coaching a young girl right now who I'm not going to say her name, but I'm going to give you the scenario. Maybe it'll help you. So she's been involved in a relationship for about a year now. And we're dealing with different aspects of her life coaching. And I said, well, look, let's just concentrate on the positive side. At least your relationship is the one strong. And she said, well, I don't know if that's true. And I said, oh, that's what I thought was going well. And she said, well, I don't know if I love him. I don't think I'm in love with him. And so right away, my comment went to, well, then you need to discuss this, because does he think that he and you are in the same place? And she said, maybe. And I said, well, there can't be any maybe. In a relationship, you've got to communicate. That trust factor of communication, especially a year in. And he's evidently, in the past, I think she was confused because she was thinking, if you're really into this, that you would want to consider talking about marriage. Well, now that's where his mindset is, and they have flipped. But don't you all agree that she should come forward and sit down? You have to be very, very careful in how you start it, because if you say, hey, so and so, can we talk? As soon as you say, can we talk, everyone, especially men, they right away go to the mindset of, oh, God, here we go. What did I do? Or what's coming next? And I said, why don't you just sit down and say, look, we've been going through a lot of things. A lot of stuff has been thrown on our plate that we've had to deal with. And, I've got to commend both of us for what we've gone through. But then get into where the two of you are and what you're feeling. So if he's talking about wanting to get married, she said she used to pressure to kind of say, well, where's the ring? Now I think he's thinking about that. But now she's back into, I don't know. She said he was kind of false in some of the things that he brought forward. I said, are you not attracted to him anymore? Or what is it? If you're literally saying, I don't think I love him, I don't think I'm in love with him, then I don't believe that that should go one more day without having a discussion. Because I said, you're wasting your time and his time. And what's happening is maybe the right person's out there for them and they can't get in because they think they're in a relationship. What do you think about that? Because you could give some advice if she ends up watching this show. The other part is, do not jump in and out of a relationship. That's the dating aspect I want you to understand. So if you get out of a relationship and then you just jump right back in, but you haven't worked on yourself, it's not going to work. That is one of the things I'm trying to teach her and help others. I've got about 12 private life coaching clients that I'm working with right now. And relationships are a big part of a lot of them, and what they feel with their husband or their wife or their partner or the person they're dating. And I said, but what about you? How are you just yourself? Like, can you get out of a relationship? And hopefully it's not a codependent one. And that's one of the things that she felt. She said, I do believe that, Monica. She said, I think you called it. You called it. We're both codependent. And that's not healthy. We've had a show on codependency in the past. But when it comes to going in and out of relationships, wouldn't you see the pattern and the sign of saying, maybe I need to get out and work on me? And then when you get back in a relationship, you're a better version of yourself. And who knows, maybe even the two of you can patch things up, the person you're actually with right now, but they would appreciate you in a better space when you have actually worked on you. I think when people go in and out of a relationship, they're not okay with being alone. What do you think about that? Do you agree with that? Let's see. Yes, she needs to be very real and upfront now before it's too late. Exactly. So if it's been over a year together, then I just think you're just kind of biding time of, where are you going with this? If there's really no long-term future there, just break it off. But her comment was, but this was the only stable thing that she feels is going on in her life right now. And I said, but that's further from the truth. No further from the truth, because it's not stable. Right? There's not stability there at all. Instead, it's just kind of going through the motions if you don't really love the other person. But I did say this, if you start a conversation and you say, let's talk about all this. These are the things that you're bringing to the table. This is what I'm bringing to the table. But you've said this, and maybe it's just miscommunication. A lot of times that's all you really need to do is sit down and communicate more. And I told her, I said, you might actually find out that you actually do love him, or he actually does love you, but you've been holding back things that you really want to say. So no farther from the truth to say it's stable is what I really feel. I have now it should say, I have now introduced 6 couples that have been married for 8+ years. I am super happy for all of them, but how is it that I am still the single one? Well, Becky, that is interesting. I remember when before Jim came back in my life, it was always feeling like I was attracting projects. So you have to tell me, who are you drawing to your life? Because a lot of times it's what we're putting out there. I have a lot of people that say, ding, ding, ding. Gosh, Monica, that's me. I feel like you're talking to me. Yes, that's me. I have a woman that's getting ready to come here actually to train in about 25 minutes. And she was in a marriage and they're divorced. And it was a horrible marriage that she went through. And then she said she was dating. And I said, you do understand that you are dating identical to what you've been telling me are the characteristics of who your husband was. And she said, I know. And I said, I hope that you have ended that. And she's like, I actually did about a week ago. And I applauded her for that. And I said, now do not jump back into a relationship. So my question to you, Becky, and to all of you, are you good with who you are? Or do you feel like there's still some things you need to work on? It really is a true statement that when you're not looking and when you have worked on yourself so much, the right person will come walking in. And it's really when you're not looking. Terry, you happened to mention that earlier, and I completely agree. When you're trying so hard, it doesn't happen, and you get so frustrated. And especially if you're faith-based, and then you start calling on God. Why would you do this? Why wouldn't you put the right person in my life? You're trying too hard. It shouldn't be that difficult. When you are really open, you are so okay with who you are, watch what happens. Not just dating relationships, but friends that have been waiting to come into your life. And that path was, again, so cluttered by you, so messed up in your head and in your heart that you're not the version of who you should be. The version of what you want to be is not out there for that person to connect with. And if your relationships are just going through the motions right now, you also have to take a very introspective look on who you are. Look deeper into your soul. Look at what you're putting out there to the world. That's when you start to have the realization of that's why it's not working. It's not them, it's me. What do you think about that? So Becky, tell me, and everybody else, be honest. This show is all about honest, authenticity, being very real. Stephanie said, after all I went through for 15 years, I decided if I meet someone again, great, but I'm happy being single. Ah, ding, ding. I am always looking and enjoy talking to men. Sure, and if it's meant to be, it will. Terry, number 1 rule, communication. Listen to your inner voice. Sometimes when in doubt, don't. Prime example about TikTok. Notice the reply. The troll. Yeah, exactly. Okay, there are horror stories with dating apps. Not to cast a shadow over it, but I remember a few in the past that were in the newspapers. It's a scarier world now. Find out everything about them. Yeah, but I don't know. Is it, Rose, or has it always been? I mean, maybe just the stories are hitting the news more. Maybe more people were paying attention to it. We look at sitting down with our parents and our grandparents, and they may say, oh, yeah, there were horrible things by just meeting someone when we went dancing together. Like my mom said, they all used to go dancing. But they still would meet people that were putting on a front. Now it's just putting on a front by typing in a fictitious bio. So it's not who they are. And I don't get the whole thing with the picture and misrepresenting yourself, because at least when you're meeting in person, you can see whether you're attracted to that person or a little bit attracted. Hopefully you don't have beer goggles on, because then the next day you'll be like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? The whole Coyote Ugly thing. If you don't know about it, look it up. However, that's the only part that I think differs. I will still go back to saying, I think it's beneficial to try some apps out. Now, I would research the ones that you think are the safest. I still think Match.com was a phenomenal site. I don't know what it's turned into because I haven't been on it in, probably 13 years. So yes, I was probably on an app when I was in television. Maybe. Gosh, I don't remember. I think so. But anyway, I believe that it can be very safe because, again, you're talking. To me, it's kind of like the old school, which I used to love. Like, you think back of the old romantic writing each other letters and having a pen pal, and the pen pal turning into a relationship that you didn't even see coming. But you get so excited because you're getting to know the person more and more and more. Excuse me. So how do you ever get to know a person from a dating app? You have to make the decision to ever meet, right? Excuse me. So don't you find that a little safer? Because you're getting to talk and talk and talk just by writing. Then you make the decision, maybe to exchange phone numbers. Then you start talking on the phone. And then you make the decision to finally meet. But in the time period that has gone from writing each other to talking on the phone to finally meeting, it could be a couple of months. And at that point, I think you've gotten to know a lot about the person. You're very intrigued by it. You have a lot to talk about on that first date instead of the awkwardness that takes place on a first date by being fixed up by a friend, or you're meeting in a bar, you're meeting in a library, like Terry said, or you're meeting out at I don't know, a social event that you go to, and you're starting to try to just, you don't know anything about that person. That is why I thought dating apps were good. So again, please just okay, so just weigh in on this. I have friends who don't agree that physical attraction is important. I know what kind of person I'm attracted to, so that surprises me. Well, physical attraction is important. There's got to be some kind of attraction there, otherwise you're just friends. But it's not. It doesn't have to be the end all. Because I think there's a lot of people who have fallen in love and stayed in long-term relationships and have gotten married, and they said honestly, we weren't each other's, if you have a kind, right, or a type. But they ended up falling in love with their mind, falling in love with their character, falling in love with the human being that they are, of who, what they want to give to the world. Like, look, so let's use this for example. The sponsors that come onto the show, the people that I choose to put on this show as guests, all have to align with my mission. So it's kind of like we're dating each other. I know I'm being a little silly here, but it's true. I will only sit down, have conversations, find out who these people are, and say, okay, you align with the mission. I want you to be a part of the show. But I wouldn't have them be a part of it if I didn't feel like they connected with me. But I don't know a lot about them. I can't see them. Obviously, this is where it's different about the attraction side. But don't you feel? So tell me about that. Do you feel that you could find your way to be attracted to someone because you fall in love with so many other aspects of who they are? There might not be that physical attraction from the get-go, but you never know. People change their hair, they change their bodies, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa. I know people that have gone out and then it's almost like a revenge. They purposely get themselves in shape just to say, you gave up on me, but I had this potential. Everybody has potential to change their hair, change their makeup, change, like I said, the way they look, the way they dress. And then suddenly, if it's very shallow and that's the only thing you were looking for, then they suddenly turn around and become, whoa, I didn't know that you had that in you. Well, yeah, you gave up. Please don't go back to those people who gave up on you because they don't deserve you. They didn't see the potential in you. And I would want to know who they are. Look, the reason I'm in love with my husband, yes, he's a good looking guy, but it is genuinely the Southern gentleman that he was, the protector that he is in the field that he chose for his career. The father that he is. He loves his sons dearly. The son that he was to his mom and dad, the sibling, all those. It's the same thing that I talk about here. Is I want to feature people and businesses that truly want to make a difference in this world, or that we can make a difference for them together. Michelle says, my mother, Julie, whoops, you just bounced away from me. Hold on. My mother, Julie, used our time to date for a bit. She had some duds, a couple good ones, but is now single and loving life with her friends. Props to her for trying online dating in her late 60s. Absolutely. I've actually asked my mom about it. That's a whole nother thing, by the way. Dating on a dating app when you're a senior. And then you see all these other ones. I don't see them anymore, but what was that farmers one? Farmerswhatever.com, which I thought was interesting. I used to see a bunch of advertisements for them. I don't really see that. Well, then again, I don't watch TV very much, so maybe they're still out there. But I also would like to know, where do you find all your dating sites? Because for me, back when I was considering it, it was Match.com was the big one, and Plenty of Fish. And then there was, like I said, there was some kind of a bodybuilder one. Other than that, I don't think there were any other ones that I used. There were some guys that I met on, what was the original, social media? Oh my gosh, it's the one. Why am I blanking? The one that everybody used that was more to get music out there. Oh, come on, people. Help me out with that one. It's the social media site that was before Facebook, and everybody was on there, but it was more so supposed to be a site where bands were discovered. And I actually met a very dear friend of mine who lives in Colorado, and we went out for a while. And a lot of people were saying, "Oh, this is supposed to be a site for bands and music to be discovered," but a lot of people are using it to meet people and to date. And I was like, "Oh, okay, what the heck?" And we started talking. Met a great guy, still a very good friend of mine, and we met on that site. But that was not typically supposed to be a dating site. So that's why I'm asking: have you considered, if the sites that you're using aren't working, have you considered just using the way we connect in this day and age, social media? Facebook. Have you met and dated anybody that you've met through Facebook? Have you met and dated anybody through Instagram, through TikTok, through Twitter, anything else that's out there that you would think that you're just using for communication purposes? But isn't that what it's about? You're trying to find someone that you can communicate with and that you have commonality with. And a lot of that's coming from what you do every day, just talking to people, friend requesting, not necessarily to date, but friend requesting because you're connected to a person that you trust. So isn't that the whole thing? It's a trust factor, like, oh, hey, if Monica's friends with them, actually friends, not just, someone is following you, but you actually connect and talk a lot, and you see that happening, and then you meet once, and then you friend request, and then you take it from there. That's really more of a trust factor, because you're like, yeah, hey, this person's hanging around with this person that I'm kind of interested in. So do you use your just regular social media platforms? Physical attraction is important, but remember, everyone ages, and if you want to hold with your mate, remember gravity, LOL. So make sure you enjoy, etc. Exactly. For me, I don't smoke and I'm physically fit. I don't want to date a smoker or someone who is obese, because that's not what I'm about. That doesn't sound shallow. You don't want to date somebody that's obese, but you know what? Everybody's version of being in shape and fit is different, isn't it? So we can all look at ourselves and go, "Oh yeah, I'm in shape," and someone else would go, "Okay, yeah, but I'm looking for this." So you might say you're in shape, but someone else might go, "Well, I don't think so." It's all perception, isn't it? Smoking, though, I agree with. Absolutely agree with. But also the fact that I just said people can change. I know people who were obese and completely changed their life, got their act together. They were just not in a good place. But if you gave them a chance and you decide to say, "Are you interested in maybe going for a bike ride or go for a walk or working out together?" They might say, "Yeah, I'd love that." And then suddenly you find commonality together. So I wouldn't give up on people, because I met guys that weren't necessarily in the best shape. They were kind of interested in it and then got themselves in shape. And, you don't necessarily want to change somebody. I used to do that in the past. I realized, Monica, that's not right. If they're not really into that, then you should hear that from them in the beginning. So smoking, though, that was a no-no. I did not want anything to do with anybody that smoked. I believe that it's more important to fall in love with their mind and who they are. Thank you, Kathy. So true. MySpace. Thank you, Kathy. You are so correct. MySpace is absolutely correct. MySpace is the social media site that we all used to use. Jillian says, "I haven't been in a relationship in years, not even a date. I think it's me and her mentality." It might be. Thank you, Dot. MySpace is exactly it. Okay, somebody's at the door. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back talking more about dating in today's day and age and how it used to look. Envita Health and Wellness, where you can feel your best both inside and out. Envita isn't your typical med spa. They're a multi-specialty medical spa and wellness center serving St. Louis and its surrounding areas. They have ketamine for mental health and pain, IV therapy, medical weight loss, and aesthetics treatments. As board-certified anesthesia providers, Envita can ensure that their advanced treatments are provided safely with minimal to no pain. So let Envita take care of you. Call 314-394-0950 to book an appointment, or online, EnvitaHealthAndWellness.com. All right, welcome back. Again, it's a Wednesday, so that's the mobile version of the Real Monica Adams Show. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Again, Envita Health and Wellness Studios are in Brentwood. 1034 South Brentwood is where we are. That's the University Club Tower building. We're on that 17th floor, right across from the gallery. A beautiful view. So somebody was commenting on the video I took the other day. Yes, that's the view that we have up there. It's absolutely incredible. So thank you to Dr. Sarah and Jamie and the staff that are right down the street from us here in Kirkwood. As well, Well, Aldon Indoor Air Quality Specialist wanted to let me tell you that they're looking for an accountant. So if you know someone that's looking for a job, Aldon is looking for someone to fill that opening, accountant. Thank you to Carol House Furniture, Brooke and Amy Dubman. Thank you so much for believing in this show. And then our friends at Florida Direct Palm Trees, they actually turn their store at the Lake of the Ozarks into Santa's Wonderland. It's like a big toy shop. So they're going to be starting to do that in October, prepping and getting ready for that. But of course, we're still not done with summer. A few weeks left here before officially summer turns to fall. I know Labor Day weekend is always the unofficial end of summer, but that's the question for you. Do you still wear white? That was like an old thing. You couldn't wear white after Labor Day. And now all the fashion trends say, whatever, do whatever you want to do. Do you still wear white after Labor Day? That's a question I have for you. Okay. Anybody else with regards to dating? In yesteryear, in today's, we talked about the safety aspect and we didn't go too deep into that, but do you feel safe dating in today's world? And that's whether you're on apps, that's whether you're being fixed up with someone. I think that might be the safest way, is to have someone that you trust introduce you. I have two people right now that I'm considering. I haven't matched anybody in a long time, and I miss it because it used to get me so excited that I'd put these really dear friends of mine together. So I love doing it, but like I said, when people used to ask me, I would say, "Don't ask. Let me just do it organically," and that is how it best works. But I think that might be where people would feel the safest, is to say, "Hey, this very dear friend of mine," or maybe someone that's a good friend that somebody works with, they can kind of vouch for that person. My mom used to say that. That's your best bet, Monica. Is she wasn't a fan of me being on the dating app. I told her, I'm like, look, though, I still have some very dear friends still to this day here in town. Also, like I said, in Colorado, I met a guy that I was really, really drawn to before gym, literally right before gym, that I met in Cabo. And it was amazing how quickly our connection was. And still to this day, this is now, oh gosh, this is 11 years later that we still are friends. He's married and has children. Obviously, I'm married and we support each other. Haven't talked to him in a little while, but he went through cancer. I mean, he's had quite a battle. And it was just, wow, what an incredible connection that you have from just knowing somebody in a day because they gave their authentic self. We talked for hours and hours and hours after meeting by the poolside. So a lot of times it is get out of your own way, be more present, be in the now, focus on what's going on around you. You might be surprised who comes walking into your life. That's what I'm going to leave you with today. I want you to understand that. Okay, we're going to talk about your value, leaving you with the blueprint for value. I'm going to leave you a little bit early because I have some clients that are going to start here at 8 o'clock, and I don't want to be running late for them. We got a big day, by the way. I am going to tell you just a little bit about what's coming up on November 4th. Mark it on your calendars. You do not want to miss this night. It's an evening with the real Monica Adams. I'm going to do a motivational speaking engagement for about 15 to 20 minutes, really give you what you need to make you the best version of you. Let's put it that way. Because if you're missing any element, your relationships, your business side, there's more that you're yearning for in life. I'm going to give you those tools. You can come to the motivational side. You can have incredible food by Trattoria Marsala, which is, you've heard me talk about them for years. It's mine and Jim's favorite restaurant, and they are providing the food. So that alone would make you want to come. Incredible food. And then you'll have wine tastings and bourbon tastings from Clayton Winehouse, which is a really cool space. So next time you're going to go pick up a bottle of wine, please do me a favor, go reach out to them. I've been talking to Chris and Tim and Sean and the staff. My brother actually works there on the weekends, does some events for them. I've been talking to them about starting a Thirsty Thursday or maybe a Wind Down Wednesday segment. Well, we are going to be doing just that. I've been talking to them. I wrote them yesterday and I'm like, come on, guys, it's time to do this. And they're like, we're so sorry. We've got to. And then my brother talked to them again yesterday. Thank you, Craig, by the way, for reaching back out again and saying, you guys got to start this because you so align with what Monica's all about. So we're going to do it. You're going to hear about them starting very soon. Clayton Winehouse. And the space alone is beautiful, but I'm telling you, you're going to want to go in there and you can get some food for like charcuteries. You can get wine, you can get spirits, you can get beer. They are hosting the Real Monica Adams evening, an evening with the real Monica Adams. Again, November 4th. Mark it on your calendar. I'm going today to do an incredible feature on my friends at Trattoria Marcella. I cannot wait. That's coming up in just a few hours. And then you're going to see that piece, hopefully sometime at the end, towards the end of this month, or maybe in early October. If you've never been there, I can't wait to show you this incredible. If you saw what we did with Casa Don Alfonso at the Ritz-Carlton, it's going to be on those same lines. Just talking about the history, talking about going back into where the heritage of the restaurant industry all came from their mama, and then who they are all individually, what they're providing, why they always get top Italian restaurant, and they're just off the hill. I mean, kudos to them. So Jamie and Stevie and Christine, I can't wait to see you very soon. I love them. So yeah, so November 4th. Tickets are not on sale for this yet, but they will be very soon. We've got some sponsors coming on for it as well. We're going to have live auction, silent auction items. I mentioned that the benefiting charity is going to be Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue. We made that announcement on the show yesterday in case you missed it. Okay, so we've been talking about the blueprint for value, and we were in the chapter Equip. So now we're moving into Empower. Empower yourself with opportunities to lead, succeed, or fail without self-judgment. Empower yourself by taking ownership, staying committed, and giving yourself permission. So we're on number 27, flexibility. Be ready to adapt and course correct. Often we think changing course is equal to failure, inadequacy, or worthlessness. This could not be farther from the truth. When you stand on intrinsic value instead of something external like success or circumstance or appearance, remember, we're talking about appearance today, and only focusing on appearance, not a good thing. You have the freedom to be flexible. Alterations in your plan do not equal failure or diminish your value. Instead, flexibility can help you grow in wisdom and allow you to thrive in changing conditions. Additionally, as you become more flexible, you'll experience what we're all looking for, which is more peace. You'll become more comfortable solving problems and adapting to new circumstances. A flexible mindset can build your personal worth account as you adapt and persist in a changing environment. So your takeaway for today, standing on intrinsic value allows you the freedom to move toward your goal, aligned with your vision, and make course corrections along the way. That's a good takeaway. Everyone, it's been fun talking about dating, opening your mind maybe to those dating apps that maybe you never did before. If you don't want to be alone, first and foremost, work on yourself. You've got to be okay with who you are. If you're not, you're never going to let that relationship really flourish and turn into what it needs to turn into. If you're okay with who you are, love who you are, trust me, the person that you're getting ready to give that love to will be able to give it right back, and it will be beautiful, perfect harmony. That's your takeaway for today. Thank you so much. We will see each other again tomorrow morning. We've got some beautiful shows coming up in the coming weeks. Can't wait to tell you all about those tomorrow as well. Go out, be anything you want to be in the world, but don't you forget, first and foremost, be kind. Love you all.